Hey guys, JSP on JSP Talk Sports, and we're here again with club football week or round 15. Yeah. So before we start with the round 15, just going through the round 14, we had the match on the Thursday. We had Man U versus West Ham. In this one, 8th place Man U played 18th place West Ham. And I predicted a draw in this one, and this ended up 1-1. Yeah. Man U remaining 8th and West Ham remaining 18th. So neither side doing each other favors. Man U had the chance to go 5th. West Ham had the chance to get out of the relegation zone right now. Man U with 17 shots, 4 on target. West Ham with 11 shots, 3 on target. And basically a struggle in West Ham frustrated Man U. Yeah, so good point there for West Ham. Well done, West Ham. Man U, the next visit Wolves on Monday coming, and West Ham play Brighton over this weekend. So that's closing off round 14. So into round 15 right now. So we have on the Saturday starting with Aston Villa versus Arsenal. This is third versus first. Surprisingly, high flying Aston Villa right now. Aston Villa coming off a 4-3 win over Brighton. Yeah. Arsenal coming off a 2-0 win over Brentford. Aston Villa 13 goals in the last 5. They won the last 6 matches, by the way. Arsenal with 12 goals in the last 5. So Aston Villa actually outscoring Arsenal in the last 5. Arsenal with 8 clean sheets though. And Arsenal with Gabriel, Havertz, Tossard, a couple others injured, still trotting on well. Martinez, keeper out for Villa, by the way. And yeah, I'm going with a draw for this one. I'm going with a draw, but really secretly hoping for a Villa win to kind of keep Arsenal at bay there. So we'll see how this one goes. 14th place Bournemouth versus 4th place Chelsea. Bournemouth coming off the 1-0 loss to Everton, so kind of slipping recently, and Chelsea coming off the 3-1 loss to Leeds. Right, Chelsea with 10 in the last 5. They haven't lost to Bournemouth in the last 8, by the way. Remember, Caicedo will be out, red card. Bournemouth with only 5 in the last 5, no clean sheets in the last 5, and haven't won in the last 5. Going with a draw for this one, actually. Although I really think it more likely for Chelsea win, but I'm going to go with a draw. Bournemouth to kind of get back on track a little bit. Then we have 10th place Everton versus 16th place Nottingham Forest. Everton coming off the 1-0 win over Bournemouth, and Forest coming off the 1-0 win over Wolves. Everton with 6 in the last 5. They have been doing pretty well other than their loss to Newcastle. They more or less, like 3 wins and a draw. Forest with 10 in the last 5, no draw between them in the last 4, so always results between these two, Everton versus Forest. And as it is right now on current form, I'm going to go to Everton win. So we'll see whether Everton could continue their fine form, or if Forest, causes the upset there. Then we have 2nd place Man City versus 6th place Sunderland, high flying Sunderland. Sunderland had a chance to climb this table even further. I just want to say though, Man City XG is 13.7. That doesn't even sound right. Sunderland's, by the way, is 2.8, right? Man City coming off a 5-4 thriller over Fulham, and Sunderland coming off the 1-1 draw with Liverpool. Sunderland with 7 goals in the last 5, but no clean sheets in the last 6. And City with 12 in the last 5, and haven't lost to Sunderland in the last 9, by the way. And they have, of course, Mr. Haaland with 15, the top scorer. And in this one, I'm going against the grain as well. I'm going with a draw for this one. City versus Sunderland. Obviously, I'd prefer a Sunderland win. It's more likely for City to win this one, but I'm going with a draw. So We have 12th place Newcastle versus 19th place Burnley. All right, Newcastle coming off the 2-2 with Spurs. Drop points there if you ask Newcastle people. And Burnley coming off the 1-0 loss in their last match. Burnley with only 3 goals in the last 5 and no clean sheet in 6. All right, Burnley had a 1-0 loss to Palace, by the way. Burnley, no clean sheet in the last 6, Newcastle 10 in the last 5, and they've won the previous 4 against Burnley, but no clean sheet in the last 5. I'm going to go with a Newcastle win for this one. I think Newcastle will be too much for Burnley. Burnley really have to get things going. Don't think it will be against Newcastle at home. Well, Newcastle being home. Probably a draw, but I'll go with the Newcastle win, right? 14th place Spurs. 11th place Spurs versus 13th place Brentford. Spurs coming off the 2-2 with Newcastle, and Brentford coming off 2-0 loss. They have 7 in the last 5 and no clean sheets in the last 5. Brentford, that is. Brentford had the 2-0 loss to Arsenal. And Spurs with 9 goals in the last 5, and they won the previous 3 versus Brentford. However, Spurs hasn't won in 5 matches, so I'm gonna go out on a limb here and go with a Spurs win. So let me see if Spurs will help me out with these predictions here, or if they will do the Spursy thing and lose. With drop points. Continuing on the Saturday EPL, we have 17th place Leeds versus 9th place Liverpool. Leeds coming off the big 3-1 over Chelsea, and Liverpool coming off the 1-1 with Sunderland. Drop points, 23 shots, 68% possession or so. And only 4 goals in the last 5. Leeds with 7 in the last 5, but no clean sheet in the last 11. And Leeds versus Liverpool, they haven't drawn in the last 4 matches. Have to go to Liverpool win. Liverpool need these 3 points. They're 9th right now. They just, 2 points off 4th place. So they need this win to get back into top 4 contention. So going to Liverpool win. Saturday in La Liga, we have Real Betis in 5, high flying versus first place Barca. Betis coming off the 4-1 win over Torrent CF in Copa del Rey. Barca coming off a 3-1 win over Atletico Madrid. Barca with 14 in the last 5 and haven't lost to Betis in the last 9. Betis with 10 in the last 5 and haven't lost in the last 8 matches. I'm going to go with a bold prediction on this one for Betis win. Hoping that Betis can get some points off Barca here, and hopefully Real can take advantage. By the way, on this Saturday, we have MLS final. Inter Miami versus Vancouver. This is the Messi versus Mueller. And obviously, I had to go with Inter Miami win. Hoping Messi can add another trophy to his cabinet. Or will Mr. Mueller throw a thorn in Messi's side again? So really interesting one here, MLS final. Sunday, moving on in EPL, we have Brighton versus West Ham. Brighton in 7 versus 18th place West Ham. Brighton coming off the 3-4 loss. Well, they lost to Villa. Villa beat them 4-3. And West Ham coming off the 1-1 with Man U. Good point there. Brighton with 10 in the last 5. West Ham with 9 in the last 5. West Ham have no clean sheets in 11. And I have to go with a Brighton win. Probably more likely for a draw, but going with a Brighton win. Then we have 15th place Fulham versus 5th place Palace. High-flying Palace. Fulham coming off the heartbreaking 5-4 loss to City when they should have probably been 5-5, like I say. 10 in the last 5, and Palace coming off the 1-0 win over Burnley. Only 5 goals in the last 5, but they've won the previous 2 meetings against Fulham. Have to go with a Palace win based on current form in this. So yeah. Serie A on the Sunday we have second place Napoli versus seventh place Juve. Napoli coming off the 1-1 draw with Calgary in the Coppa Italia round of 16, but they got through on penalties. And Juve coming off a 2-0 win over Udinese in the Coppa Italia. Napoli with 7 in the last 5, Juve with 8 in the last 5, haven't lost in the last 8, so going good, just a lot of draws. Going with a Juve win in this one, Juve really need to win to get back up this table. More likely for a draw, but have to go with a Juve win. Was a Juve, let's go. La Liga on the Sunday, we have Real Madrid versus Celta Vigo. Real Madrid down in second right now, and Celta Vigo in 12th. Real Madrid coming off the big 3-0 win over Athletic Club, and Celta Vigo coming off a penalty win over Sant Andoria in the Copa del Rey. Celta Vigo with only 6 in the last 5, Real with 10 in the last 5, and they have Mr. Mbappe 16 goals so far. Remember, he and Haaland will be going for Golden Boot honors in European football this season. Have to go with a Real Madrid win. Real Madrid, yeah, hopefully Real Madrid wins and Barca slips up there in their match against Betis. And Monday Night Football, we have an EPL. We have 20th place Wolves versus 8th place Manu. Wolves coming off the 1-0 loss to Forest. Heartbreaking for them. Manu coming off the 1-1 draw with West Ham. Some would say drop points. Wolves with 0 goals in the last 5, but they have won the last 2 versus Manu. Manu with 7 in the last 5 and no clean sheet in 7. Guys, I'm going with a Wolves win in this one. Manu visiting Wolves. Wolves trying to get things back on track. Manu is the team to do it against. I'm going with a Wolves win. My boldest prediction. Yeah, so let's see if Wolves can get it done. I'm really, really hoping for that to see Manu slide back down the table there. High flying by the recent standards in 8. So those are my predictions for round 15 football. Let us know what you think. And yeah, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, GSP on GSP Talk Sports, comment, and help us on our way to 300. Almost there. Thanks a lot, guys.